Like so many, we Mothertonguers are full of hope and relief today at the election of President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We wish that our joy in this could have been included in our script. Because of the limitations of Zoom, we've had to record our performance, so our stories take place in the mood of the before times. Let us celebrate the changes that are to come and hold each other close as we explore loneliness and its antidotes in the time of Trump and COVID. COVID time and the living is lonely. Can't go shopping and the temperature's high. Well, this life's a drag and my future is broken. So empty and boring, I could cry. One of these mornings, I went to go out walking. Had my mask in place, had my N95. And on that morning, didn't let nobody get near me. Kept 6 feet around me, just pass them by. It ain't necessarily safe. It ain't necessarily safe. Some folks are defiant, not really compliant. They ain't necessarily safe. Anna.
Sometimes I feel alone, which is different than feeling lonely. Sometimes I feel isolated, which is different than feeling alone. Sometimes I feel different from, which is not isolated, alone, or lonely. Sometimes I feel so comfortable in my own skin. And what is this called? Sometimes I feel uncomfortable in my own skin. And what is that called? It seems that all of these have in common the sense of connection, or lack of, with others. Connection is the link between me and myself, the inner and the outer, the body and the mind, as in Tibetan terms, which is the heart too. Connection is what the Hopi Indians speak of as life, where nothing is dead. Connection between you and me is neither agreement nor disagreement, but empathy, perspective, tolerance, and the expansion of ideas in spite of differences. How lovely it would be if we could all maintain not a sense of, but a true thread of connection through every spoken word, every action taken, every gesture made, every thought transmitted, and every gaze we cast on one another. Would we ever feel alone? Susan.
You might think skipping a grade in school is an honor, signifying intelligence, superior ability, extraordinary brains, perhaps even a genius possessing an outstanding IQ, a maven. Nada, niente, nicht, bupkis, not. In my case, I believed the school was very overcrowded, and they needed to push some third graders into fifth grade. Anyone who could at least put a subject and a predicate together in a sentence was eligible. What it heaped on me was to make me math deficient, as fourth grade was fraction learning time. But even more chilling was that it made me the loneliest kid, because none of my friends had passed the sentence test. So I was alone, expected to be precocious. I felt deserted, solitary, friendless. My school had forsaken me. My friends had forsaken me. Kate.
I have a secret. I want to tell someone. Why do I want to share it? Is it to connect? Or is it to talk about something only I know? Am I looking for attention, sympathy, or understanding? This secret holding isn't new to me. It's grown over time. Don't tell your dad that I bought you this dress. I don't want him to know how much money I made in tips, my mom would say, adding, besides, he won't notice the new clothes anyway. So I didn't tell my dad. Don't tell your coworkers that you are bisexual. They won't understand, my friends said. But I did tell my coworkers. They didn't care. Don't tell your conservative born again mother you are converting to Judaism, I said to myself. You don't want to hurt her. Mom died before I converted and before I could tell her. She knows everything now anyway. Keeping a secret can be lonely. It means holding something inside, watching what you say, not revealing anything that can give it away. Sometimes a secret is like a lump of coal, thick, dark, messy. Sometimes it's like a rare jewel, only seen by a few select people. And sometimes a secret is no secret at all. Everyone already knows. Corky.
Oh, little self, little clueless, lost, lonely self, afraid to be your true self, hiding behind long hair, fake accents, shapeless clothing, and utterly unaware dervish of destruction. But your heart was brave at times. There were momentary lapses of protective walls when you forgot who you were supposed to be and became who you truly are. Ruth.
I spent a lot of years in a relationship feeling like something big was missing. It was like we were on separate tracks, and I didn't feel like we were a we. Growing up ashamed of where I came from, it was easy to agree with my partner and believe that the things she didn't like about me were actually just wrong. Too intense, too loud, too opinionated, too emotional, too political. My working class Brooklyn Jewish self was what her family left behind when they assimilated into a middle class suburb. I tried my best to be quieter, softer, keep my views to myself. Gradually, I felt myself shrink until I felt that I was living in a cotton cocoon, watching life from a distance. Then I met someone who soon became my very closest friend. It was exhilarating to be so deeply seen and understood. I felt renewed pride in my roots and respect for that younger me. She had endured lots of hard times, but she was stronger for it. She was down to earth and engaged with the world. I cracked open my heart and stepped out of that cocoon. I felt fully alive again. But my partner wasn't happy for me. We fought more about politics and about me taking up more space. One night, I happened to tell her that I felt more whole since reconnecting with my past. But you aren't that poor little girl from Brooklyn anymore. That was the moment of complete clarity. I knew now what had been missing. Neither of us had loved all of me. I looked back over 20 years of trying to be acceptable on her terms. I couldn't go back to that cocoon. I wasn't less than anyone, and I wasn't going to stay with someone who thought that I was. I'll always be that poor little girl from Brooklyn, I said. Susan.
The loneliest I have ever been was when I had 2 husbands, 3 children, 4 stepchildren, 2 dogs, and 1 Siamese cat who hated me. Judith.
You say sweet things, but your hard eyes, your defensive posture, the bristle of your quills speak bitter. Your silence has spoken, and I've heard it, but I was hoping it was busyness, illness, life. Today it hit me hard, my thoughts relentlessly tumbling your way, my heart's love for you with nowhere to go. Every time I think of you, you're further and further away, a sonar echo bouncing off the empty chamber of my heart, a place where you used to sit. I sit in the corner of the couch, stunned by your words, so few, so painfully few, but so clear. And so I give you back the jagged edge I hear in your voice. I give you back the feral wariness I see in your eyes. I give you back the defensive attitude that girds your body. I give you back the ice that's formed around your heart. I call you back with sweetness in my voice. I call you back with warmth in my eyes. I call you back with ease in my body. I call you back with my heart reaching out to yours. And at the same time, I'm letting you go, letting you go, letting you go. Because what I'm grasping for is already long gone. Corky.
After the love affair is over, I try to take good care of myself by eating a lot of cheesecake. And I loudly snap my gum and go to movies with lots of buttered popcorn. I love my unstructured life now. I can write bad poems about her. I can read self-help books on how to recover from a sarcastic intellectual lover. I can go to drives for places she did not like. I can fix meals with meat. I can sing my own songs off key and kiss myself a lot. Ruth.
Dear Sue, on a cold gray day in December, the ambulance delivered you to your new home, an assisted living facility. I told you this place is called Age Song. In younger, healthier days, you would have made a dismissive joke. Age Song? Some song. Instead, after I turned out the light and kissed you goodbye, you called out, "Don't leave me." I asked if you meant don't leave at this moment or don't leave in general. In general, you replied. Sue, I said, I will never leave you. Okay, you murmured, shut your eyes, and fell asleep. Now, due to the shutdown, I have not seen you in person for 7 months. I miss you, your humor, even your crankiness. but our connection endures. At least on FaceTime, I am still here and I am not leaving. Anna.
I've got your back, and you've got mine. I let you rant, and you let me whine. I cheer you up when you get blue. You've helped me survive this terrible flu. When I get down, you make me laugh. And when you're lost in the ocean, I'm your raft. I give you hope things will get better. You lie. You like my ugly sweater. I've got your back, and you've got mine. This friendship has stood the test of time. Judith.
Finger hunger, yearning arms. I'm missing the solid presence of another body. Breathing together, standing in embrace. Alone is not lonely, but I miss the touching, holding, being held, the press of skin to skin, of belly to belly, the pressure of hands on back, the stroke of a palm on cheek, on shoulder, the sigh of relief as the contact deepens, the comfort of, ah, there you are. Here we are together. Susan.
I was introduced to death at age 16. My grandmother was dying. Baba, we called her. Baba being the Yiddish Bessarabian version of Bubby. We were summoned to the Jewish old folks' home where she lived out the last chapter of her life. She had been placed on a pallet, very high up on a table. It looked like she was a sacrifice to an Incan god. We were advised to say goodbye. It was appalling. It was heartbreaking. Baba whispered over and over, Lag mir glach, lag mir glach. Place me in my pine box straight. When it came time to put her in the ground, I was told to accompany her in the hearse. It was me, the driver, Baba way in the back. I kept thinking how very alone she was, forever confined in her coffin, hermetically sealed, a poisoned loneliness. She would say, Elaine via Stein, alone as a stone. I was suffering the loneliness of grief. I wanted to jump in the back with her. Corky.
My sleep gives me gifts of dream reunions. I dream of meeting my wrinkled grandmother who's dressed in black with a purple shawl. I'm seeing her age freckles on her neck. She's kissing me 3 times. 1 kiss on the right cheek, 1 kiss on the left cheek. She says, "Nach," and kisses me right on the mouth. I awake with tears of joy, wrapped again in all-giving grandmother love, strong even after death. Judith.
In the space between words, you enter time again, a mood, a sense of ache. Until just now, I sat swaddled in dogs, hands casually combing their backs. In the space, I feel you safe somewhere, off somewhere, clear as the air with no one breathing it anymore. I'm getting used to your bed without bedclothes, the curtains taken down, blinds half lidded, clothes folded, stacked, inert. No one left to open a shirt, insert an arm. You are not the space, not the clothes, are no effort, no suffering, no body, nowhere. In the sinuous progression of time over action, time alone travels in waves, spasms. Suddenly a glimpse of you catches me, a sob, Then time closes the gap. Anna.
5 of us who lived on some property together in rural California were all hanging out in the living room of the main house after lunch. The sun was shining and I was feeling warm and comfortable. For some reason, one of the women started talking about the Holocaust. Too bad Hitler didn't finish the job, she began, because the Jews didn't deserve to live. They are so. I don't recall what else she said. What's clear in my memory is how I felt, as if everything stopped. My heart and breath and brain, no words forming or able to come out of my mouth. My lover witnessed this. Since she was a woman of color and we had often talked about our shared experience as outsiders, I thought of her as an ally. Didn't you notice what happened? Why didn't you stick up for me? I said. I didn't hear it happening, but I did hear it. But I was so horrified, I didn't know what to say. I understood what she was saying and felt compassion for her, but didn't feel safe anymore. Not long after that incident, I moved back to San Francisco, and I've been rooted in cities ever since. Over the years, I've been in groups where someone says or does something racist. There are times when my best friend, who's a Black woman, has turned out and pointed to me what happened because I completely missed it. I understand how subtle and unconscious racism can be, and I can forgive myself for not knowing what I don't know. What feels much worse, though, are the times when something happens and I do know, and I'm in a frozen, numb place, in agony because no words can come. In those moments, I feel like my ex must have felt, wanting to speak, but not knowing what to say. I don't want to abandon someone in that situation. I know what it's like to feel vulnerable and undefended. I'm committed to working through my fear, taking my power and my voice, and being a good ally. I've developed some short and simple things to say. Wait a minute. I'm uncomfortable. Can we talk about something that just happened? I want to show up. I want everyone to show up for each other. Corky.
What I have found is myself, my own clear mind, my tender hands and heart. Susan.
I had a major fit turning into a hermit due to COVID-19. I began sitting, knitting, getting obscenely hungry, quitting exercise, bringing me to my knees, making my liver seize, fighting with maskless strangers, getting dangerously angry, weeping when I heard a bird singing. My brain's jelly, my belly bulging, my skull shrinking, binge drinking, full of self-pity, and above all, lonely. My mental health appalling, bawling my eyes out, stalling on my advance directive. You are a diabolical germ. Bump, Trump, off. Leave the rest of us alone, you inhuman, inhospitable, huge, horrendous, hateful, hellish, hellacious piece of feces. Let me be clear, as all the politicians are saying, these adjectives also apply to Trump and Jared.
Yes.
Kate.
I see most birds hanging out together, usually the medium and large size ones, sitting, flying, or scrounging for food on the ground from the local Wendy's restaurant. Sometimes I see a bird all by itself, like the hummingbird that comes to drink from the flower of my Mexican sage plant or eat the fruit from my African cactus. Is that single bird lonely as it gathers its sustenance? I remember making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich as a child and walking by myself down to the arroyo, the dry riverbed at the end of our street. I would hike the trail, watching out not to touch the poison oak, getting hot, tired, and dirty. And then I would take a break to eat my sandwich before running home to tell my mother of my adventures, happy and well fed by all that surrounded me. From where do I gather my nourishment? Is it from nature, from people, from the universe? Yes, yes, and yes. Ruth.
It is 3 a.m. and I'm lonely. These days, between the pandemic, insomnia, and the isolation of old age, I am often lonely. I could play a game of spider solitaire. That would pass the time. Besides, Anne is asleep, so she won't be able to nag me about how I'm ruining my hands with that damn computer game. I win. It won't hurt to play just one more game. I win again. With each success, the computer spews forth a waving red banner, 5 dancing gold stars, and a jumping black spider. They're all proclaiming my brilliance. Then my strategy fails. I lose. I decide to play again, just until I win. Now it's 5 a.m. and I've been playing computer solitaire for 2 hours straight. My wrists hurt. My eyes are getting blurry. My brain is unraveling. Then something strange happens. But that is not really so unusual. I am given to strange events. The spider winks at me from the computer screen. I must be really lonely because I don't panic and I don't turn off the computer. Instead, I say, hello. Hello, she grins back. I'm your new friend. Let's play again. Kate.
Sifting through an album of old friends, I notice how many of the pictures include us surrounded by food. Green salads, fruit salads, bagels, brisket, egg noodle casseroles, and desserts to die for. We gather together in living rooms, kitchens, and cafes to eat, drink, and be merry. With shelter in place limiting those interactions, how am I fed now? I realized that the gatherings were more than just about the food that I consumed. It's the nourishment I felt by seeing a smile, hearing a laugh, and sharing a story with a friend. So I'm leaning into Zoom, learning how it works, looking at people in gallery mode, focusing on one person in speaker mode, and participating in breakout rooms for small group discussions. Life is not the same, but it is still good. I am still connected with others. I am learning how to survive, how to thrive in the age of COVID. Judith.
When this is over, will we have learned how precious, how delicious, how necessary to run into your arms and feel your body next to mine, the rush of warmth, your sweet, salty smell, your soft cheek, my fingers in your hair, our foreheads pressed, breathing each other's breath. When this is over, we will gather in houses, bearing gifts and cakes, blow out candles and sing. When this is over, we will gather in holy places, speak of loved ones gone, lean in, let our tears mingle. When this is over, we will gather in gratitude and humbleness for our simplest of human needs: touch, skin, warmth, love, presence. Corky.
We are Mother Tongue Feminist Theater Collective, alive and well for 44 years. And this is our very first Zoom performance. We want to thank Heather Morrow for recording and running this production. We also want to thank Lavender Seniors for this opportunity. And we want to thank the following women who contributed to this work.
Anna Turetsky,
Corky Wick,
Kate Lucas,
Rebecca Silverstein,
Susan Parnas,
B. Lieberman,
Judith Masser,
Lori Riera,
Ruth Hurwitz.
Thank you.
Yay. The end.